So I used to be a small gacha tuber back from like 2017 to 2020. Unfortunately though, a lot of my older videos from 2017 and 2018 have mostly been deleted, but I still have a decent amount remaining that show my progression in my editing and tweening skills from the years following. And, well, this progression is underwhelming at best. But I was also around like 9 to 12 during this time, so for my age, I wasn't too bad, I think. But that made me wonder something. Can I still make gacha memes after all these years? I had like consistent tweening practice with apps like CuteCut and KindMaster and stuff like that back during those years, but I haven't used those apps at all since like 2020. At very least, not for tweening. So with my lack of any practice for the last 6 years, I was curious to see if I could somehow, you know, still make these memes or even manage to improve. And overall, how it would look if I tried to make a meme today. So, I started this little experiment by re-downloading Gacha Life and remaking my old avatar. But I ended up scrapping it and making a new one because holy fuck, the old one is an eyesore, to say the least. So I made one that I probably would have made if I wasn't so far in denial about being trans back then, or like even just allowed myself to appear more tomboyish on screen like I was in real life. But once the new avatar was created, I dug through the dark depths of my brain to try and remember how I used to get the body sheets of each limb separated, which I eventually remembered. AKA I accidentally found it while aimlessly clicking around, so. Once I got all the body sheets separated into their individual screenshots, I had to pick a meme to do. I wanted to recreate a meme I'd already made, so I can, like, directly compare my tweening from, you know, then to now. So my goal now was to find a meme that showcased a decent amount of tweening, and hopefully a song that won't get me copyright claimed either. And given that half of my old videos have claims on them, as well as my lazy ass making memes with still screenshots of my avatar half the time instead of tweening, finding a meme was a lot harder than I thought. Especially with CuteCut's 30-second limit, finding a meme took like an absurd amount of time, but I finally settled on the meme Bad Karma. The original meme I made did have a copyright claim on it, but I mean, at this point I could not care less about that. My videos aren't monetized anyway. I'll show the original meme, then compare it to the new one at the end of the video. After getting all the body sheets and stuff, I re-downloaded CuteCut to start actually editing them, but I don't have the pro version anymore, so I apologize for the watermark that's going to be on the video. And I'm sorry, but I'm not paying to remove that shit. I didn't even use to pay for it now that I think about it. I went onto some random-ass scam website and got it for free. And I mean, it worked, but I don't even want to know how many viruses are on that phone. Which I do actually still have, and I was gonna try and use that phone for this video to avoid having the watermark and that 30-second limit, since that phone still has the pro version of CuteCut on it, but it has 0 storage space, so it wouldn't even let me re-download Gacha Life without requiring me to delete like basically everything else on it, so I just kind of gave up. One thing that was difficult about remaking an old meme was trying to see the old meme, because if you haven't noticed, why the fuck were there so many effects on the screen, dude? I can hardly even see the tweening to get any inspo for how to make the new one. But that's probably for the better, because the tweening in this video actually sucks cheeks. But, something fun I remembered about CuteCut that I forgot about and not only had the misfortune of remembering, but also having to deal with again, is the fact that you can't see where you're moving something until after you let go. Plus, the screen is so small to edit on, and flipping to landscape hardly helped either. So, I don't know how I used to edit like this on a phone even smaller than this one, but I don't know. So trying to line things up the whole time was a nightmare, and I ended up just making the pose base in IBIS Paint and saving each limb individually again. So it would automatically line up properly in QCut when I added the pictures, and then I was just going to work off of that, which, thank God, that worked so much better. I would say maybe that is what I used to do, but seeing how this video was lined up, I really doubt it. The actual tweening was pretty easy. It was a lot easier than I thought it would be, or remembered it being. After figuring out which buttons I needed to find, I remembered pretty quickly what I used to do. Also, the transitions wouldn't lock in sync with each other like the clips did, so they were always slightly off time from each other, which was really annoying. After a good few hours, the intro was done. Just the intro. But I'll cut myself some slack for taking so long because this is the first time in like 6 years I've even touched QCut, so I think I did okay for like 2 hours worth of work. Hopefully. Yeah, God, how the fuck did I used to post these type of videos multiple times a week? I've been in virtual school for 2 years, and I've graduated, and I still don't have the time or patience for this. I don't know how little me had so much motivation. I need that back, bro. I used the IBIS Paint method once again and started the process all over for the main part of the meme. By this point, I think I was about 4 hours total for, like, hardly any tweening at all. Honestly, it makes me realize why my old memes were so shit. I probably didn't have the time or patience for this. This is what I ended up with before being done for the night, and by night I mean day, because it was just about 6 in the morning when I finally went to bed. But the next day came and I was back to editing. And looking back at this with fresh eyes made me realize why I probably used to think I was so good at editing. When you do it all in one sitting, you start to ignore all the flaws in the video, but when you actually take your time, it's a little easier to see how many times you fucked up and didn't notice. But I guess I'm reverting back to my 10-year-old self because I'm way too lazy and not committed enough to fix any of it, so back on the grind I go. I finally finished the main part of the video and even thought of a way to get around the 30-second time limit. Unfortunately, not the watermark, but thankfully it's not as big as the old watermark used to be, so it's not a huge deal, but now it's on to the last part of the meme. For the third and final time, I went into IBIS Paint and made a pose. Then threw the images into QCut, and the more I refamiliarized myself with QCut, the quicker the tweeting became. Or maybe I just rushed because the app kept finding new ways to piss me off and I wanted to be done. But eventually I finished the second loop of the video and the last part of the meme. After finishing up the last part of the meme, I wanted to see if I could find the exact app I used to use to add the effects and not overuse them this time. But I couldn't find it, so I had to settle for CapCut, which CapCut doesn't have as many free effects on it, which... saying that probably just killed little 10-year-old me somewhere in a different universe, but that's okay, because I'm not gonna need as many effects as I used to use anyway. Which is still a habit that's hard to break out of, I'm not gonna lie. I was looking through all the effects while I was trying to find good ones for the video, and I was so tempted to use like 30 of them at once. It never leaves you, man. But after all this crap, I finally have the completed meme. Now, I don't think it's very fair to my old self to say that my editing now is better, as I didn't try to recreate something as complicated as a walk cycle. Plus, I don't know, I'm like 6 years older than I was back then. I'm probably just naturally going to be a bit more attentive to stuff like that. But with the tweeting of the second half of the video, they're a bit more comparable to the new one, so I think it's safe to say my editing skills are about the same as they used to be. I didn't necessarily get worse, but with no practice in 6 years, I obviously haven't gotten much better. But regardless, I had some fun doing this experiment, despite how fucking annoying CuteCut is. I don't know why I used to use that app. And, you know, it was nice to relive that small little section of my childhood for a bit, but I don't see myself ever doing this again, as I've moved on to other hobbies in the last 6 years, believe it or not. But anyway, that's all I have today. See ya whenever I post again.